representative to Nepal and to. So thank you, Taka, and thank you, Dulce, Pageng, and Amka. So the session went on for a little long.
You are unmuted.
FAO represents Bhutan. And on the panel, we'll have three countries. So we'll have Lee Proyut, who's the Assistant FAOR for Cambodia. Online, we'll have Srikant Ashil from Bangladesh. And we'll also have Mr. Abe from Papua New Guinea. So I hope you're all there online. I can see Srikanta. Who? Oh, sorry, we'll have Sitikon from Lao PDR. Okay, my apologies for that. So I think we all have all them online. So we'll start off the session. So over to you, Ken.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. If you could make it full screen. So I'm going to be talking about Bhutan and Nepal, and I'll start from Nepal. Next slide, please. If you could display that. Yes, thank you. So very quick overview in terms of the agri-food systems in Nepal. Nepal is an LDC country, but planning to graduate from LDC status in 2026. Approximately 28% of the land is arable. The agriculture sector contributes to about a quarter of the GDP and employs almost 62% of the total workforce. Because, as I mentioned, the government is planning to graduate from LDC status in 2026, it is looking at the agriculture sector as a potential source of economic transformation and development. However, as you can see in the slide, there is a huge trade deficit or imbalance in terms of imports and exports, with imports of, even like staple crops like rice increasing, over the years. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges in terms of agriculture production in Nepal? First of all, Nepal, mostly smallholders, and the land is also a lot of also fallow land. Production systems are very subsistence based, so very low in productivity, production. Also, there are issues of migration. A lot of the young people are migrating from the rural areas to the urban areas. Also, out migration. So they're migrating to India, to the Middle East, also Southeast Asia. So there is a lack of shortage of youth labor in agriculture sector. And what we call, there's a feminization of the agriculture sector, that actually a majority of the agriculture labor force in Nepal are women, as I mentioned, working in subsistence agriculture production, with also lack of mechanization, modernization. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of fallow land. And also on top of that, human-wildlife conflict. Nepal is also very vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, the triple planetary crisis. So there's pollution, biodiversity loss. And on top of that, it lacks competitiveness towards imports from India. So I'm sure that Taka probably talked about that. So India can produce at mass scale and at a volume and at very competitive prices, and that makes it very difficult for Nepalese farmers to compete. And there is, of course, ambition to accelerate export of high trade agricultural, high value agriculture products. But again, Nepal also lacks capacities and facilities in terms of meeting the sanitary and phytosanitary requirements and standards that are required, for example, for the US, European, Middle East, or Southeast Asian market. Next slide, please. So again, in terms of the government priority and needs, you can see on the slide the various needs and priorities, and FAO is responding to that through policy support, providing access to finance and projects, technology, introducing technologies for climate change mitigation adaptation, building capacities, also preparing for emergencies, both for animal diseases, plant diseases, and of course, natural disasters, and also supporting knowledge management and sharing. The government has declared the coming decade as the decade of agricultural investment, so FAO is supporting that. In terms of investment, of the total investment, foreign direct investment is only 10%. Within that, agriculture is 1%. So you would all agree that there is a need to catalyze additional investment for the agriculture sector. Next slide, please. So this is a Nepal CPF, a 5-year CPF that we launched last year. It's aligned with government priorities, also with the UN SDCF. And we have 4 priority areas. The first priority area, support for sustainable agri-food system transformation, is the area where we have the better production-related outputs and activities integrated, as you can see on the slide. And our key interventions focus on policy support, capacity building, modernization, R&D, and providing support for infrastructure and also sustainable agriculture production. Next slide, please. So in terms of the integration of the 4 betters, we have a project that we are aiming to establish what we call the 4 better villages in select villages in Nepal, where we're trying to integrate aspects of better of all the 4 betters. So we will have farmer field schools where we work with farmers to increase productivity and production, combining that with nutrition education, behavioral communication change, also making looking at climate resilient agriculture, environmental restoration and sustainability, and also income generation. So this is a project where we're trying to integrate the 4 betters. Next slide, please. So here is an example of how we have 4 betters as cross-cutting themes. And for example, we have our support to agri-food systems transformation, where we're providing support to the government in implementing a national agri-food systems transformation plan. Also reviewing that at the provincial level, local piloting that in 7 municipalities. We also accelerating the implementation of the Right to Food and Food Sovereignty Act. Right to food is actually enshrined in the Nepalese constitution, one of the few countries to do that. I'm going to talk specifically about the more BP, focused initiatives in Nepal. So we have the Digital Village Initiative. We have OCOP, which focuses on black cardamom for Nepal, which is also a high commodity. We have a project called FANSEP, Food and Nutrition Security Enhancement Project, which is a project funded by GAFS, the Global Agriculture Food Security Program. This is a project where we are applying the farmer field schools and empowering farmer groups to increase production and productivity for staple crops, but also integrating that with nutrition education and also providing training on agribusiness management. We also have, in terms of strengthening livestock and animal health systems, we have ECTAD and SPEED. So this is basically support from USAID and also the Pandemic Fund, looking at strengthening capacities for animal health systems, transboundary animal disease management, pandemic preparedness, and also promotion of the One Health approach. The Forest Farm Facility is a small grants program looking at strengthening capacities of forest producer organizations. In terms of aquaculture, we have a Pangasius fish aquaculture promotion, which is also a hand-in-hand commodity. We also have support to youth empowerment, earthquake recovery, agricultural statistics, green cities initiatives looking at the promotion of urban and peri-urban agriculture and also green infrastructures. And of course, we have hand in hand. And because Nepal is also a mountainous country, we're working with the International Mountain Partnership to promote mountain agriculture value chains. Next slide, please. Okay, so quickly to Bhutan, very similar issues, but at a smaller scale. You can see the country of less than 800,000, so a very small country, but a lot of the issues are the same. Again, the agriculture sector contributes to 15% of the GDP, employs 43% of the employment. What is a little bit different from Nepal is that Bhutan is known for being carbon negative, again, one of the few countries, known for environmental sustainability, stewardship, and also for gross national happiness, as many of you may have heard. However, the issues are the same. Production, agriculture production is very much subsistence-based with very small holdings, a lot of fallow land, and also growing dependence on import for a staple food, including rice, and not a lot of exports. Next slide, please. So again, the production issues are the same. I think also Bob mentioned this. Yeah, only 3% of the entire country is arable. And again, it has issues of low productivity, labor shortages, similar to Nepal. A lot of migration from rural areas to urban, out-migration. In the case of Bhutan, a lot of the young people are migrating to Australia, a lack of modernization, mechanization, and also human-wildlife conflict. And again, very similar to Nepal, also very much vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, loss of biodiversity, and environmental pollution. Next slide, please. So if you look at the government priorities, the government is really looking at the agriculture sector to increase GDP. You can see from 170 million in 2023 to in 5 years, almost 3 times that. In terms of status, Bhutan did graduate from LDC status last year. So it is no longer an LDC country. However, it is an LLDC, landlocked developing country. To achieve this very ambitious target, the government is looking at intensifying commercialization, building, strengthening capacities for climate resilience, promotion of high-value, low-volume agriculture products, and again, but at the same time, making sure that environmental sustainability is not compromised. And we're providing support through the CPF, which we launched this year, again, 5-year framework, through the various initiatives that you see on the slide. Next slide, please. So this is Bhutan's CPF, as I mentioned, that was we launched this year, 4 priority outcomes. Priority area number 1, support for sustainable agri-food system transformation, is the one where we have a lot of the BP focused interventions, starting from OCOP. In the case of Bhutan, quinoa cultivation is the focus, and we're also trying to introduce GI, GIES, and quinoa is also a hand-in-hand initiative. So this is, again, like Nepal, we are linking OCOP with hand-in-hand. Also, we're trying to promote digital agricultural innovation strategies and tools, and also accelerate providing support for the development of national pathways and action tracks to accelerate agri-food system transformation. Also, other key policy strategies such as agri-food system strategy, food and nutrition policies, and we also had recently concluded a gas-funded project called FSTAP, and very similar to Nepal, where we provided support to farmer groups to strengthen productivity and production for staple crops, but also integrating that with behavioral change and nutrition education, business management. We also have pandemic fund implementation in Bhutan as well, where we're actually Scott is actually in Bhutan as we speak, supporting the government on One Health promotion. Next slide, please. So again, we are integrating the BP kind of focused interventions with the other betters in Bhutan as well. Through, as I mentioned, we're trying to link production with nutrition education. We're also trying to link that with strengthening capacities for climate resilience, ecosystems restoration, and at the same time looking at digitization, mechanization, inclusion of women, disabled people, and income generation. Next slide, please. So what can RAP and HQ do more? I think it is, just as kind of I think it's a little bit general here, but basically provides support for capacity building, technical assistance, policy guidance, resource mobilization, data and research support, and facilitation of technology transfer, knowledge exchange, and strengthening of M&E frameworks. So next slide, which is the last. So thank you. So that was my presentation. So thank you very much. Sure, thank you. So I think maybe we'll move on to then, I think, Cambodia then, yes? Or is it, yes, would you like to, and I have some questions for you in terms of if you could really tell us about, maybe I have two questions first. What does, better production mean, in your country context? And what are some of the challenges or gaps in achieving better production in terms of, production targets and gaps? What are the government priorities in terms of achieving better production? And what is FAO doing to support the government in achieving better production through its country programs or CPF? So I hope that was a lot, but I hope that was okay. And over to you, please, for your intervention.
Okay, thank you very much for the first question. Cambodia used to be a rice deficient country in the 80s and mid 90s, and it became a rice self-sufficient country from the mid 90s, and now the country produces much more than what is needed, with around 55% of rice surplus for export. So now the government priority and focus it's not on the production expansion, but on enhancing efficiency, economic efficiency, optimization of input use in order to improve productivity, strengthening product quality and safety to meet the market demand, increase diversity of production, increase more value addition of agricultural products, and ensuring the environmental compatibility, forest, land, water, soil, biodiversity, and finally increase resilient adaptive capacity to the climate change. That's in the context of better production in Cambodia. And the key challenge in realizing better production in Cambodia, similar to other country, the majority of farmers in the country are smallholder farmer, with more than 50% of the farmer having less than 1 hectare of land. So we need to work with a large group of farmers and value chain actors who are very fragmented. The value chain is not very well organized, so there's a lot of inefficiency in the value chain. They could not achieve the economy of scale because often a smallholder farmer, they could not purchase, for instance, agricultural inputs at a lower cost because they cannot have the full purchase of cultural input, and there's a lot of issue of product aggregation, etc. And because there's a challenge in providing the effective extension support, there's a low adoption of modern agricultural practices and technology, access to information, etc. And also there are a lot of challenge with regard to ensuring the quality and quantity, consistent quality and quantity and compliance with the safety standard, because they are smallholder base and they are very fragmented, and they need a lot of support in order to ensure that's consistent quality and quantity of cultural product. And also they have a limited capacity to invest in the climate adapted technology and practices and productivity enhancing technology input, because they have lack of access to the capital and the finance. And finally, we are encouraging a farmer to shift toward climate adapted and environmentally friendly cultural practices, but the market incentive is not there to incentivize them to transition toward that sustainable and climate resilient cultural practice, because it's involved cost, it involved effort, so it needs incentive for farmer if we want them to adopt those practices. In addition to all these challenge, the problem of extreme weather event, climate change, natural resource depletion, etc. All these compounding factor hinder the advancement of better production in the country. So the government priority for better production, as said at the beginning, they focus it on improving the efficiency, improving productivity, quality, safety, create more value addition, and increase resilience. And now they are working to putting a lot of effort to find way on how to reduce the cost of production in order to optimize the income for the farmer. So the need is to strengthen the productive capacity of the farmer and the local community in climate smart agriculture, the adoption of good practices that can help them to improve quality, productivity, and eventually the income. And the other priorities include strengthening the access to market and fostering the local processing capacity in order to capture more value addition for the domestic economy. And also the government focus it is not only about increasing the income for the farmer by increasing good price for agricultural product. They want to stabilize the price for those who do not produce, but they could also have access to affordable and nutritious food. So they want to balance between the production, between the availability and the capacity of access of those who do not produce. And to address all these challenge, the government the Ministry of Culture specifically, they have three flagship program as their priority. One, it's the improvement of cultural value chain, the marketability and the price stabilization of a cultural product, and second one, strengthening the extension support services by deploying commune cultural officer to all cultural commune across the country to provide a better extension support to the farmer. And lastly, strengthening the cultural cooperative. They call it developing a modern cultural cooperative by what they mean is to consolidate land and aggregate land at a scale where they can apply modern equipment, modern technology to reduce cost of production, to improve the value chain, etc., in order to improve the efficiency of the value chain. So what they request for FAO supported technical assistance as well as support to mobilize the financing to support the implementation of these three flagship program to build capacity of farmer, improve the agricultural value chain, etc., and providing I think called assistance and financing for the development of the value chain of the key agricultural community, plus I think called assistance into the key sector, for instance, the inland fishery, which is an important source of protein for the Cambodian population. And they also request for the support to use to harness the digital platform, for instance, to improve the crop monitoring system by using satellite-based image and using other form of digital platform that help them to make informed decision for cultural development. And lastly, the request for the continued technical assistance on the one hand on the antimicrobial resistance and surveillance program of zoonotic disease, etc., where we have a long-term program in the country.
Okay, thank you so much, Pro Youth. And let's hear from our online colleagues. I think we have Bangladesh and Laos. So if I could ask, is it Dr.
Srikant Shil.
Srikanta from Bangladesh? The same question to you. What does better production mean in your country context? What are the key challenges and constraints in terms of achieving better production? What are the government priorities in terms of achieving better production? And how are FAO, programs, projects, initiatives supporting the government in, achieving better production? Over to you, Dr. Srikanta.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon. In Bangladesh context, the better production means we can say that sustainably increasing productivity in agriculture, fisheries and forestry, fostering inclusive and resilient agri-food system in changing climate and environment. You know, the climate change effect is Bangladesh is so severe, and this is so there is a good priority area for climate change effect. And digital agriculture is also very important issue particularly for Belarusian development, because Belarusian development issue incorporating the smallholder farmers and other Belarusian actors. That is a very important issue for particularly in Bangladesh context. There is the quality assurance is a problem, food safety issues. So and farmers are not getting too much good price for their products. That is a market linkage issue is also a problem. Better production under this, and the government priorities is giving the agricultural production standardization and the accreditation of seed certification. As you know, that seed certification is not yet started, actually, not so much quality status. So there is a need for accredited seed certification body. And food safety issue is a big issue for Bangladesh, for particularly not only for production status, for processing, consumption, and throughout the value chain, food safety is a problem, major issue. So this is a priority. First priority portion is a quality assurance as well as food safety assurance throughout the value chain is an important step to be taken. And innovative and urban farming also important issue, what we can address. Irrigation technologies, because our land water layer is going down, that is depleting, and to address this issue, irrigation technologies with surface water management is very important. Climate smart agriculture is another important issue, because climate is a huge issue for us, climate change effect. So Simultaneously, agriculture monitoring and information systems is important. And human, animal, and plant health also for it. As per our CPF priority, CPF inclusion what we have blue transformation. This is recycling, reusing, and disposing hazardous wastage in environmentally sound manner. Capacity building for environmental management for public and private organizations. More land areas to be for hectares of forest, crop, watershed, and other lands under sustainable management, including climate resilient practices and ecosystem. Yes, of course, for BP3 is policy and guidelines support for zoonosis, pandemic emergence, antimicrobial resistance. Laboratory support for diagnose prioritized disease and food safety. This is a very important issue. Establish platforms and make them functional under one health mechanism. Train health workers in zoonotic disease and food safety issues. Support individual upon screening through health worker visits and report disease outbreaks in Bangladesh animal health intelligence system. That is BP3, and also very important issues for BP4, small scale producers equitable access to resources. Let's say our smallholder farmers, particularly for promote agro-based SMEs, including those operating informally. There is informal organizations, SME, there are many micro SME or cottage level, a lot of informal organizations, enterprises are working. So all of these to be targeted under the project through digital technologies, improved business development services is required. Still, we don't have any business incubation system because small scale enterprises are facing a big problem with business incubation. In many countries, there are business incubation system has been started, but yet in Bangladesh, we are at the zero condition. So this theme is required for our country. Access to financial support opportunities and expanded market access, that is very important. Strengthen linkages among private sector associations, that is inter-firm relationship in the value chain aspect. That particularly for there is a value chain actors, there is no relationship like that. Due to that one, there are syndicate forming, and the farmers, that is the smallholder farmers, are not getting their fair prices for their products. This is a country priority. And what if you say some a good example, we can say in one project, similar many projects, TCP project, one country, one priority project, what we have been conducting for 2 years, and similar another project for TCP project with jackfruit, that was a some important second fruit actually in second condition, but this jackfruit production was just at in a subsistent condition. With this project with LCOP and TCP program, while we have given some training, capacity building, and some other interventions relevant, their productivity has increased, in some cases double, and also their quality assurance have been done, because they were completely ignored how they will give their production of fertilizer application, insecticide, or some other improved production management practices. They were not habituated with that. But after this project, we have intervened on all of these issues. Simultaneously, our one important intervention was to women and youth entrepreneurship development, where there is a better life is involved here. Better nutrition is there because value-added products are there. This is a good coordination across the betters. And also some create mass awareness about the nutritional value for the fruit that is all over the country. This is one of the important example for projects. But beyond these two projects, there are many similar projects we have been conducted, and still it is some projects, the TCP projects and other projects are being implemented in the field level that is similar to this, where we have tried so that at least 2 or 3 betters can be incorporated as per the as per our CPA priority. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Srikanta. So we'll come back to you. And then we have a colleague from Laos with another very difficult, I'm sorry, Sitikone. Okay, so over to you, Sitikone. The same question. What does better production mean in your country context? What are the challenges and the gaps? And how is FAO basically supporting the government to meet, to achieve better production in Laos? So over to you, Ben.
Thank you, Ken. I hope that you guys hear me well, right?
Yes, very clearly. Yes, please go
Thank you.
ahead.
For the first question, for the better production means to the Lao government is first is mean the increasing the productivity, and then second is enhancing the sustainability and improve the nutrition as well. And this thing is going to be contribute to the overall rural development, right? And for the regarding to the second question, what is the barrier or the key challenge of Laos that we have been facing? First of all, is if you can hear the news, we affected by the climate change, especially the flooding. The flooding is happening in the northern part and as well as the central and the south as well. They go from the north to the south, and it's affecting the agriculture area and the housing and facility as well. That one. And another one is the land tenure issue. As the farmer or the local people, they want to do the agriculture. As you know that Laos, we have only 7 million population. 70% of them is working in the agriculture, but some of them, they don't have the land. And they are not very clear, the clear area or the specific place for them to do the agriculture. That's why it's very discourage them to do the farming as the long-term farming stuff. And for the barrier to another barrier is going to be the soil degradation as well. As most of the Lao farmers, they still lack of the knowledge, and they plant the crops or the product that can give them the high value of return, which is some of the product is degrade the soil, and this thing is gonna be the problem of the producing the crops and the product, as the soil is degrading after they plant the batch, especially for the potato. It's very famous in Laos right now, but still in the long run, it's gonna be a problem. And another major thing that is gonna be the barrier is gonna be the access to the road. As you know that Laos, we are mostly mountainous country, and especially at the northern part. And it's very difficult for the local people to access to the main road because the fundamental road is not very not very up to the standard, I would say, especially in the north. It's very difficult for them to access to the market, even though that they can plan the product and they don't know how to sell. And they don't have the access very easy to the market, which is linked to the market as well. As Laos, we can produce and self-sufficient already, but we still lack of the market network or the place for them to sell. Yeah, so that is the overall or the key things that is the challenges that the government facing right now. For the priority that the government is focusing right now is the agriculture modernizing and the food security. As I told you, we can produce enough to feed ourselves, but for the marketing, packaging, all the post-harvest or the market network, we still need to work on it. But as you know that Laos already opened the new facility, which is called the Lao China Railway, which is provide the opportunity a golden opportunity for us to export the product. But still, even though that we can produce, but we cannot produce to meet up the goal of the government that they want to sell. For example, we have signed a contract with China to export the livestock. But we can supply only a little amount of it. They say like, if I'm not mistaken about the number, 500 cattle per year, but we can only export only 2,000 approximately. So this is gonna be the government encouraged the FAO to help them to work on the livestock as well and on the products. As well as the human capital development as well, because Laos we still lack of the human resource in terms of the technical as well, and they still need our FAO support as well. And another area that they want to focus is apart from the production is the nutrition. So they the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry working with the Ministry of Health. They are focusing on the nutrition, the strategy, the action plan for the nutrition. So they are emphasizing on not focus on what to produce, but the thing that we produce need to be nutrient richest. And so the nutrition is the one of the priority that the government of Laos is working on as well. And as well as the private sector. Right now, as you said, Laos is the lead developing country, and we are aim to graduate soon, but I think it's gonna take a few years more to graduate from the least developing country, and that's why the ODA is gonna be decreased every year. So they try to making the plan or developing the plan together with the private sector and the CSO and stuff in order to we can use the PPP approach in order to accelerate and help the program. And what else? Sorry for this, the third question again. Sorry, Ken.
It's more about, what are the FAO or some of the flagship initiatives on BP that you would like to, maybe highlight? No, I think you very nicely identified the challenges and the gaps. So what are some of the flagship FAO initiatives on BP? Maybe also linked to the other BP betters.
Yes, for the flagship that we have been working with the government is first thing for the past few years is the high. As I mentioned, is we have the train. We try to extract the investment in either inside the country and or the international investor to come and invest in Laos. So right now under the high umbrella, we supporting the government to developing the investment case to showcase what is the potential things that we can produce and what is the incentive package for the investor to invest in Laos. So we still working on that. And another thing that that I want to mention it here that is particularly for this BP1 is the program in the upland area is called the Smart Agriculture in the Upland Area, which is, I think this is the good program because it's very linked to another BP as well. As you know that the production, we try to ask the upland area, they have the small place to cultivate, and they're always affected by the climate. So this program is a good example to show them or to give them the information, the agriculture data or climate data together to support their production. As well as this thing is going to relate to the another as well. For example, the better for environment. This program or this project is not focused only the production in the rural area, but we're talking about the forest area as well, which is going to relate to the crop diversity, so they can know what can be produced from the forest or what is the valuable products from them as well. And what else? Yeah, and that's the overall thing for
Thank you.
from
Thank you for that. So I think we're kind of a little bit running over time. So I'm going to be asking the three of you one final question, which I think the other also group talked about, which is what is the, we have a lot of colleagues from RAP, also headquarters joining us. So what is the kind of, a support that you would like to see from headquarters or regional office in terms of, achieving better production, in your countries at the country level? And I saw that there's a very concrete also suggestions and discussions in the previous this session, so we might actually want to build on that. So I'm going to go in the same order and start from Cambodia then. Yes, over to you in 1 or 2 minutes, please, because we're kind of over time. So thank you.
Okay, thank you a lot. Actually, I have a lot to say for this question. Indeed, we have a significant increase in the portfolio, but in the meantime, we are under human resource to implement those projects. We do not have enough resource to implement to provide adequate support to implement those projects. That's one thing. For instance, for the REGEF project, because of the REGEF policy, we cannot directly implement those projects, and the fee are too little for us to have the person in the country to help manage or to help oversee the project, and we need more resources in order for us to properly provide support to the project. And in terms of HR policy, it's not a previous speaker talk about the HR policy. We have very limited flexibility in our HR policy in using the resource. For instance, from the TCP, we cannot use the resource to hire NPP colleague. We can hire only PSA colleague, which is very constrained for us as our colleague talk. In addition to this, procurement is also an issue. For instance, with the JEF project, we are not allowed to directly implement the project. We need to engage a partner either through operational partnership agreement or letter of agreement. We have the experience with the letter of agreement with the service provider. It takes us a year or more than a year to finalize the letter of agreement. We keep clarifying the question to the procurement team in the HQ, because they cannot accept the way that we explain that JEF doesn't allow us to implement the activity. So with a very small procurement activity, it has to be put in the LOA, and they keep asking the question why we outsource the procurement to the service provider, but FAO, we cannot implement those activities. We cannot do any activity, including the procurement. So what can we do in this case? So we spend a lot of time in clarifying, in finding the solution to those constraints, and very often our policy is sometimes it's contradictory to the donor policy. For instance, again, for for the JEF project in the operational partnership agreement, it's not allow the operational partner to use the grant, to transfer grant to the beneficiary group, for instance, to agricultural cooperative. And JIVE doesn't allow us to implement that. So what can we do in this case? So we've spent a lot of time and effort to find way on how we can address all these concerns. So I think we need
Okay, yeah, if you could,
in
yeah,
in
okay.
in in in
Thank
in
you.
that.
And thank you, Peruse.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same question to you, Dr. Srikanta, but really, please, very briefly, in one or two sentences. And I don't think you need to repeat what colleagues have already said. So something maybe additional to what has already been mentioned.
Okay.
So over to you, Dr. Srikanta.
Okay, thank you. Particularly, just last year, we have seen that a lot of TCP proposal has been come from government side, but a limited number have been given to this due to the limited fund. So in that case, if there is opportunity to increase some TCP funds for giving more projects. This is one. Another question is that we have submitted a headquarter in OCOP Secretariat one project, just 1.1 million US dollar, jackfruit evaluation project, but I think this is under processing, but I don't know whether if there is any fund availability to.
Okay, I think we got your point, resources, Okay, so let's move on to our colleague in Laos. Okay, please, anything additional to what has already been mentioned? So
Yeah,
over to you, please.
yeah. Thank you. I'm not gonna say anything that our colleague already said, but the only thing that I wanna mention here is, Ken, is when we in the future, when we try to developing the new project or the new TCP and stuff, for when writing the concept note for the project documentation, I would suggest on recommendation to hire or to mobilize the funding for the advisor or the staff in the local country in order they do understand the context of the country, because many times that the TCP is already well written, but it's the person is written is on rep or the headquarter, which is sometimes is not matched with the current situation. So if I want to say something, it is the one that I want to raise. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, all of you. So there's mention about the need for increased HR, more agile procurement processes, definitely more money, more technical expertise, especially contextualized at the country level. And thank you to all the panelists. I think this was the LLDC group. So we saw a lot of similarities in terms of, challenges in terms of market linkages, the importance of climate resilience, food safety, also strengthening animal health systems, One Health approach. And also we saw a lot of active implementation of OCOP, and also OCOP linked with, hand in hand, and also DVI implementation in a lot of the interventions from the panelists. So thank you so much. And, I think everybody looks very kind of tired. So I'm going to hand this back to Suridar, if that's okay with you. Thank you so much to all the panelists and everybody for your very, active engagement and participation. So thank you. Back to you, Suridar.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, panelists. So we are midway or halfway through the country sharing session. We'll reconvene again tomorrow at 9 a.m. We heard a lot about the issues with these two kinds of typologies we went through today. Some of them are new, some of them are quite familiar, but the message is that a lot of the old issues are still around for us to continue, but then we have new ways of working and new technologies to try and solve some of the older, long-standing problems. So we'll continue tomorrow. Let's meet again tomorrow at 9 a.m., but of course, be here a few minutes before. so that we start on time and then we move on to the next set of country sessions. And till then, have a nice evening and enjoy Bangkok.
Thank you so much.